Some places hold time. They trap the past inside themselves. And sometimes it leaks. In 1987, a hospital in Osaka became such a place. At first, no one noticed, but then strange sounds began coming from the walls. Tick, tock, but not a clock, a heartbeat, mechanical yet organic. And in some rooms, time slowed down. Seconds passed like minutes. In other rooms, it accelerated. Patients aged, years in just hours. Doctors evacuated the building, sealed it. But something was in the foundation, something still working, something still playing with time. And in 2018, they found it. Before you continue watching, hit that subscribe button because this story isn't just about a hospital. This is about a man who succeeded in reversing time but couldn't stop it, and about someone who has been living for 200 years but not truly alive. This is the story of the Rewind Hospital and the man time could not forget. Osaka Central Hospital, Japan, March 15, 1987. The building was 97 years old, built in 1890, from the Meiji era. Western-style architecture, brick walls, high ceilings, long corridors. Thousands of patients had been treated here over the years. Dr. Kenji Nakamura was 34 years old, orthopedic surgeon. He'd worked at this hospital for 8 years. He was a good doctor, careful, meticulous, the kind who asked questions. That morning he went for a routine check. 3rd floor, room 312. Patient 9-year-old boy, Yuta Kimura. Broken left arm, bicycle accident. The cast had been applied 2 weeks ago. Kenji entered the room. The boy was sitting up in bed, his mother beside him. The cast looked clean. Everything seemed normal. "Good morning, Yuta," Kenji said. "How are you feeling?" "Fine, doctor," the boy said, but his voice was tense. Kenji checked the cast, touched it lightly. The boy flinched in pain. "Does it hurt?" Kenji asked. "A little." "Since when?" "Started this morning." Kenji frowned. A 2-week-old fracture shouldn't hurt. This was the healing period. He decided to remove the cast. Maybe it was too tight. He cut carefully with the saw, removed the cast, and what he saw froze him. The arm was freshly broken. Same place, same angle, exactly like 2 weeks ago. It was swollen, bruised, as if the accident had happened yesterday. This is impossible," Kenji whispered. The mother asked in panic, "What happened? Is it bad?" Kenji couldn't answer, because he didn't know. The boy hadn't had any accident, hadn't fallen, hadn't been hit. The bone had just broken again. That same day, in the same hospital, on the 5th floor, another incident occurred. Room 502. Patient, 56-year-old woman, Akiko Suzuki. Breast cancer. She'd had surgery 6 months ago. The tumor had been removed. Recent tests were clean. She had healed. But that morning's control X-ray showed the tumor was back. Same place, same size. As if the surgery had never happened. Dr. Haruka Ito, oncologist, checked the X-ray 3 times. There couldn't be an error. But it was real. The cancer had returned. Exactly to its starting point. And it wasn't just these 2 cases. That week, 7 more patients experienced the same thing. Different diseases, different treatments, but all the same result. Healed conditions returned to the starting point, as if time had been rewound. Hospital management held a meeting. All doctors were called. Kenji presented his findings. 7 cases, all different diseases, but the pattern is the same. Patients heal, then the disease returns, exactly to the initial state. Dr. Ito added, and there's a time constant. On average, relapse begins after 14 days. The chief physician, elderly Dr. Ishikawa, was concerned. Could it be infection? Bacteria? Virus? No, Kenji said. Infection can't explain a bone fracture. The bone is re-breaking, physically. Then how? No one could answer. But the incidents weren't stopping. They were getting worse. By the end of March, there were 23 cases. And now it wasn't just relapse. Other things were happening. Nurse Yuki Tanaka, 28 years old, worked on the 4th floor. During a night shift, she noticed something strange. In room 418 was an elderly man. He'd had a heart attack. He was stable. Yuki checked at 10 p.m. Everything was normal. At 10:30 p.m., she entered again and was shocked. The man had aged. His face was more wrinkled. His hair was whiter, as if he'd aged 10 years in 30 minutes. Yuki called the doctor. Kenji came running. He examined the man. Pulse was slow, very slow, as if he were living at a different speed in time. "This room," Yuki said, trembling, "this room is different. Inside, time is slow." Kenji tested it. He placed a stopwatch in the room, went outside, waited 5 minutes, then went back in. The stopwatch showed 3 minutes. Inside the room, time was flowing 40% slower. And this wasn't just one room. Other rooms were affected too. In some, time slowed. In some, it accelerated. In some, it flowed normally, but suddenly changed. Seconds speeding up, then slowing, then returning to normal. The building was dancing with time. April 1987. The hospital was living a nightmare. There were now over 50 cases. Some patients experienced relapse 3-4 times. They were in a loop, healing, then falling ill again, healing again, falling ill again. And other things were happening in the building. Sounds were coming from the walls. At first, no one took it seriously. Old buildings creak, pipes make noise, normal. But this sound was different. Tick-tock, tick-tock. Rhythmic, regular, but not a clock. More organic. Yuki noticed it first. During a night shift on the 3rd floor, she stopped, listened in the silence. The sound was from the walls, close, very close. She pressed her ear to the wall. The sound became clearer. Tick-tock, tick-tock, but not just mechanical sound. There was another sound underneath, faint, breathing, like human breathing, but mechanical, as if lungs were working with pistons. Yuki stepped back. Her heart raced. "There's someone inside," she whispered. She called Kenji. Kenji heard the sound. He knocked on the wall. The sound continued, without pause, as if it were an independent rhythm. "What's behind the wall?" Yuki asked. Kenji looked at the building plans. Nothing. Should be empty space. But the sound is coming from inside. Kenji called the engineer. They checked the wall, did a radar scan, and found it. Behind the wall was a hidden void, 2 meters wide, 3 meters long. It wasn't in the building plans. Must have been sealed later, and sound was coming from inside, still. Kenji wanted to open it, but the chief physician wouldn't allow it. "Too risky," Ishikawa said. "Could weaken the building." But the incidents weren't stopping. They were getting even worse. May 1987. The hospital was now dysfunctional. In some corridors, time slowed so much that walking took minutes. In some rooms, it accelerated so much that patients aged and died. A patient entered on the 6th floor in the morning, died in the evening, at age 80, though in the morning he was 35. He had aged 45 years in the room, in 12 hours. It could no longer be denied. The building was experiencing temporal anomaly, and the source was the void in the walls. June 1987. The government intervened. The hospital was evacuated. All patients were transferred to other hospitals. All staff were sent on leave. The building was closed. Official explanation: structural problems, safety risk. But the truth was different. A special team came, military uniforms, civilian IDs, radiation detectors, time measurement devices. They scanned everything. Kenji requested permission. He wanted to go inside. He was refused. But Yuki managed to get in. Her old nurse card still worked. She entered secretly at night. The building was silent, dark, but the sound was still there. Tick-tock, tick-tock, louder, clearer, as if it had strengthened. Yuki went up to the third floor, approached the wall. The sound was very close. She pressed her ear against it. Breathing, mechanical but regular. And another sound, faint, very faint. A whisper, words, Japanese, old Japanese. Stop, please. Loop, won't end. 200 years, please. Yuki stepped back, her breath caught. There was someone inside, someone alive. But 200 years? Impossible. The lights came on. Security caught her. They forced her out. 2 days later, the building was completely sealed. All windows were closed. All doors were covered with steel. Entrances were blocked with concrete walls. And this note was entered in the official records: building permanently out of use. Demolition planned for 2015. For 31 years, no one entered the building, but the sound inside never stopped. January 2018, Osaka. The old hospital building was finally going to be demolished. It was 128 years old, now dangerous. Demolition permit had been issued. Takeshi Suzuki, 42 years old, was a demolition worker. He'd been doing this job for 20 years, had demolished thousands of buildings. But this building was different. The first day they started demolishing the outer walls. Bricks fell, dust rose, everything seemed normal. But on the second day, when they reached the foundation, they found something strange. Thick concrete wall, 2 meters, reinforced with steel bars, extremely solid. As if built to keep something inside. Takeshi asked his boss, "What is this?" The boss checked the building plans. Not in the plans. Maybe an old cellar. Should we open it? The boss hesitated, but finally gave approval. Open it, but be careful. The team drilled into the wall. Concrete broke. Steel bars were cut. It took 3 hours, and finally, a hole opened. Air came out from inside. Old, damp, chemical smell, and a sound. Faint, very faint. Tick, tock. Takeshi looked inside with a flashlight. The room was small, 3 by 4 meters. Walls were bare, ceiling was low, and in the center, something was there. A bed, metal bed, someone on it. Takeshi stepped back. "My God," he said. The boss looked inside. His face went white. "Call the police, now!" Police came, ambulance came, medical teams came. They examined the room, took photographs, kept records. And the person, they took him out. But he was alive. He was breathing. His heart was beating. But not normally. 40% of his body was mechanical. A metal cage was mounted to his chest. Pistons moved inside, up and down. Breathing, mechanical breathing. His heart was half organic, half mechanical. Copper tubes connected to blood pumps. Tick, tock, heartbeat. Mechanical, but rhythmic. His arms and legs had metal rods, like internal skeleton, supporting the bones. His face was human, but old, maybe 60, maybe 70. But the skin looked strange. Some areas young, some areas old. As if frozen at different ages. His eyes were closed, but his eyelids were trembling. He was taken to the hospital. Osaka University Medical School. Special Quarantine Unit. Dr. Hiroshi Yamamoto, 45-year-old biomedical engineer, examined the case. "This is incredible," he said. "The body is half cyborg, but the technology belongs to the 19th century, maybe older. Handmade mechanics, brass, copper, iron. But the engineering is brilliant." "Is he alive?" his assistant asked. Hiroshi measured the pulse. Yes, very slow, but alive. His metabolism has slowed 80%, as if frozen in time. They took X-rays. There were more mechanics inside. Filters connected to the liver, pumps connected to the kidneys, injectors connected to the stomach. All organs were supported. And at the base of the skull, a device, metal sphere, hazelnut-sized, connected to the brainstem, wires going into the nervous system. "What is this?" the assistant asked. Hiroshi didn't know, but he had a guess. Maybe a time regulator, something controlling metabolism. Something fell from his pocket. Small metal plate, Japanese writing on it. Old Japanese, handwriting. Hiroshi read, "My name is Dr. Hideaki Sato, born 1820. I started this experiment in 1825. Goal, stop aging, reverse time. I succeeded, but I can't stop it. Please, kill me." Hiroshi swallowed. 1825, 193 years ago. Other things were found in the room. A chest, locked. When opened, there was a journal inside. Old paper, brown ink, handwriting, hundreds of pages. Hiroshi read, translated with his team, and the story emerged. March 15, 1820. Today I turned 20. I'm studying medicine in Edo, learning Western medicine. I have Dutch teachers, anatomy, chemistry, mechanics. I want to learn everything. But one thing has become my obsession: aging. Why do we age? Why do cells deteriorate? Why does time kill us? June 2, 1823. I've been researching for 3 years. I've read everything about aging. Western books, Chinese books, Indian books. And I've developed a theory. Aging is a consequence of time's forward flow. If we can reverse time, we can reverse aging. But how? January 10, 1825. I found it. I found the answer. Heartbeat is the rhythm of time. Each beat is a tick. Forward, forward, forward. But if we control the heartbeat, we can control time. I made a mechanical heart from brass and copper, pump system, but not just a pump. There's a regulator, time regulator. Each beat is programmable, forward or backward. I'll try it on myself. March 15, 1825. Today I performed the surgery on myself. I used painkillers, opium, sake. I opened my chest, connected to my heart, installed the mechanical regulator, added support mechanics to my organs. Then I started it. It's working. Heartbeat is under control. Metabolism slowed. Time slowed. Victory! March 20, 1825. There's a problem. The system won't stop. I pulled the start lever, but the mechanics keep running on their own, as if they have their own will. And worse, time isn't just slowing. Sometimes it goes backward, sometimes forward. I can't control it. April 1, 1825. My body is changing. Sometimes I'm 25, sometimes 20, sometimes 30. I look in the mirror and see a different face every day. My hair turns gray, then black again, then gray again. My skin wrinkles, then smooths, then wrinkles again. I'm in a loop. Date uncertain, maybe 1830. I don't know how many years have passed. Time has lost meaning for me. Sometimes seconds feel like hours. Sometimes hours feel like seconds. And worst of all, the system can't be stopped. I tried to shut it down, but my body is now dependent on it. If I stop it, I'll die. If it runs, I'm in the loop forever. Date uncertain, maybe 1850. People can't see me anymore. A hospital building was built, on top of me. My old house was demolished, but the foundation remained, and I am still here. They built a room in the foundation, put me inside, closed it. Now I'm in darkness. Only tick-tock, my heartbeat, endless. Date uncertain, maybe 1900. Time is leaking. My system is too powerful. It doesn't just affect me, it affects the surroundings. The building is in the loop too. Some rooms are slowing, some rooms are accelerating. I hear people. Above, in the hospital. They're suffering because of me. But there's nothing I can do. Final entry, no date. Has 200 years passed? 300? I don't know. I only know I'm still alive, still in the loop, and I'll never be able to stop. Please, if someone finds me, please shut down the system. Kill me. Have mercy. Hiroshi closed the journal. His hands were shaking. This man has been alive for 193 years, but not living, stuck in a loop, going forward, going backward, never stopping. His assistant asked, "What will we do?" Hiroshi couldn't answer. Dr. Sato's body was examined. Every detail was recorded. The mechanical system was complex. Dozens of gears, hundreds of wires, pumps, filters, regulators. But the center was the device at the base of the brain, the time regulator. Hiroshi wanted to remove it, but it was risky. If he removed it, Sato might die instantly, because his metabolism was completely dependent on the device. But if he left it, Sato would remain in the loop forever. The team debated. They consulted the ethics committee. Answer: respect the patient's wishes. According to what he wrote in his journal, he wants to die. Hiroshi made the decision. We'll shut down the system. But first, he wanted to communicate. They attached an EEG, measured brain activity, and were shocked. Sato was conscious. He seemed asleep, but his brain was active, thinking, feeling, hearing. For 193 years, he had been aware of everything. Hiroshi tried a method: electrical stimulation, light current to the brain. Yes, no questions. Can you hear me? Brainwave changed. Positive response. Is your name Dr. Hideaki Sato? Positive. Have you been here for 193 years? Positive. Hiroshi swallowed. Do you want us to shut down the system? This means death. Long silence. Brainwaves became confused, as if thinking. Then, positive response. Are you sure? Hiroshi asked. Positive again, but this time stronger, more determined. Hiroshi couldn't hold back tears. I understand. We'll do it. February 3, 2018, Osaka University Hospital. Special operating room was prepared. Team assembled. Hiroshi, assistants, nurses, anesthesiologist. But anesthesia wasn't needed. Sato already seemed unconscious. Only the brain was active. Hiroshi asked one last time, "Are you ready?" "Thank you. Sleep in peace." Hiroshi reached for the device in his head. Small metal sphere. Wires connected to the brain. Carefully, he disconnected it. The system stopped immediately. The tick-tock sound ceased. The mechanical heart stopped. The pumps stopped. The pistons stopped. Sato's chest rose one last time, then fell, and never rose again. The EEG flatlined. Death. Real death. After 193 years. Hiroshi wiped his tears. Rest in peace, Dr. Sato. You're finally free. Dr. Hideaki Sato was buried in a special cemetery in Tokyo. On his gravestone, these words were written: Dr. Hideaki Sato, 1820-2018, the man who conquered time but was defeated by time, now at peace. He lived 190 years, but in reality only lived 5 years, because the rest was the loop. Repeat, repeat, repeat. His body was examined, his technology was recorded, but never replicated, because now everyone knew. Playing with time is a curse. The old hospital building was completely demolished, the foundation was excavated, all traces were erased. But some people still say, when night is quiet, a faint sound comes from that area. Tick-tock, tick-tock, as if time still hasn't stopped there. Because time forgets nothing. And sometimes, in some places, it leaks.